Hello everyone and welcome to this Thinglink webinar, which is all about the use of Thinglink in retail. And we are delighted to see so many of you have signed up for our webinar today. So congratulations for joining in. And I'm delighted to be joined today by my co-host, Zach. Congratulations for joining in. And
Hi, Louise. Great to see you. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. And it's getting a bit stormy here in Scotland. We've had a weather warning, so hopefully my signal will hold out.
Yeah, I'm in Boston. The weather has turned quite nice. It's going to be 60 today, so kind of amazing.
Excellent. So, Zach, do you want to give people a little bit of background about your role in Thinglink?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Thinglink, I kind of oversee North America partnerships and key client relationships. And we work with a lot of customers in retail. And you, Louise, a little background on what you do for Thinglink?
Yeah, so I've been here a couple of years now, and I'm responsible for our communities and our partnerships. And also, I just like to create really nice examples of Thinglink in action. So I kind of get asked to do that, which I don't mind doing. And of course, sharing some of our news in our communities.
Excellent.
So we are running this webinar on retail this month, and one of the reasons we're doing this is because we've been overwhelmed with people getting in touch about specific uses of Thinglink and interactive media in retail. Was there any other reasons that you wanted just to pick up on there, Zach?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the retail use case, as I mentioned, has been one that's been growing quite significantly, especially with the relaunch of our scenario builder tool. And we've been, working with clients across, the United States and across Europe and across Asia on developing new ways to utilize Thinklink within the retail sector. And so instead of having these continual one-on-one conversations and walkthroughs, we thought we'd highlight some of our examples, our tools, and how it's being used currently to a broader audience. And so, that's the kind of the genesis of this webinar.
Excellent. So we put together a little agenda for everyone today. So obviously just a little bit of an overview about how Thinglink works. I know that some of you might have used Thinglink before. Some of you might be brand shiny, sparkly new. So I'm going to show you what Thinglink looks like. Zach's going to give you some really nice examples of real customers who are using Thinglink in retail for scenario-based learning and creating simulations. And then we're going to have a look at how easy it is to create scenarios with Thinglink. So we do have a Q&A slot at the end, but we would be delighted if you want to leave some comments in the chat and ask questions. We'll be able to put those on the screen and answer those as we go along. So we'll be delighted to answer. So please do keep those coming. So I guess it's just the first thing to kind of dive into really is to have a look at what Thinglink is. And I think that, like everyone, we've seen so many shifts in culture, particularly because of the pandemic. People have really struggled to keep engagement with online resources. So sending out a video, people can always get distracted by their phones around them. And how do we keep people's attention? But also, I mean, it's been so difficult when people haven't had time actually in the shop or in this behind the scenes and not being able to do that because not being able to be in the workplace. How do you actually remotely learn about what somewhere looks like before you actually get there? And that's some of the real problems and complex situations that people have found themselves in when they've landed on Thinglink. So I'm just going to share my screen now and start diving directly into Thinglink so you can just see what some of that looks like. So just to start with, here we have my screen. So Thinglink is a way that you can easily upload an image, a video, a 360 image or a 360 video, or even a 3D model, and then add in hotspots which pop up with other images, video, text, and other types of media. And what does this look like? So here I've got an image which you could use as your base media. And this image is actually got a lot of information in, and I've actually just pulled this image. It's a shop, a boutique from an airport store. And here you can see there's lots of information that's kind of hidden that you really might want people to be aware of, that you're introducing into your organization. That's like the metadata, isn't it? It's the sort of hidden information, which often we can't see by just seeing the image alone. Some people are calling this the metaverse. That sneaky Zuckerberg's already got in and coined that term, hasn't he? So if you take an image with Thinglink, what you're able to do is layer in these hotspots where you can add in further types of information. So for example, here I've got a little bag which I click on and it pops up with a text and media tag, and it's just an image of the bag that I've uploaded and a little bit of text. And the great thing about this particular tag is that you can click on the immersive reader icon, and this text can be played aloud. So you've got a text-to-speech option built in. But what you're also able to do is translate that text into over 80 different languages, and the viewer can read that, and it will also have text-to-speech in whatever language you choose, even with the right accent, much better than mine. So it's really, really lovely that, you know, that feature is baked into our text and media tags. But there are other different types of tags that you can add as well. So we've got a plain text label there with a little bit of information, but you can also embed really important tools. So if you have a form that you use that you might want people to ask questions, you can actually embed that form, which I've used a Google form here, but you could use a Microsoft form, for example. Or you even might want to embed something interactive like a map. So that's a really nice way of being able to add in these additional hotspots. So I'm just going to show you a couple more examples of base media. So this is another image that I've created, but this time, rather than a photo, I've just created this little infographic about good customer engagement tips. So this is a little video that I've put in that text and media tag, which is all about being welcoming, which we know is a really important skill in customer engagement. And this Thinglink can just be shared or embedded anywhere. I've just put a little series together. The next example is where I've got a video as that base media. And quite often people say to us, well, you know, that's great having all these assets, but weren't they complicated to produce? But, you know, with a mobile phone, you could go in, record that interaction. So it's in context for your store. And then you can see here at the bottom, we've got little hotspots and little tags that we've embedded, which have got information on, and I can actually put these to play at any time along the video. So here we have the third one where I've said, use the contact card machine, and here's a little video of the contact and card machine working there. So the next kind of base media, as I mentioned, is a 360 video. And this is, again, a really nice way of showing an immersive, interactive experience where we've got actually, you know, a production lab which is producing different types of chemical products. But this, as a 360 video, gives you the option to put the tags in on the timeline, but also scroll around and have a look. So the last little image I'm going to show you is a 3D object. And this example, which we've got of a shoe, personally my favorite running shoe, and I'm able to embed hotspots in here which have key bits of information, and I'm able to share that with anyone to show them, you know, how they might sell this particular shoe, but it gives them lots of opportunities to really understand, you know, what it is to have that Salomon shoe, which I can personally vouch for. They should pay me for advertising now, shouldn't they? So I'm just going to scroll back a little bit to that first image, which is this one here. And I've opened it up in another tab where I'm going to show you what the editor looks like. So for example, this little bag icon here that I put, maybe, you know, I want to change that bag icon because it's not right. By clicking on my edit pen and then clicking back on the editor icon, I can change the icon of anything that I've created. So here I might want to choose a bag icon, and I could change it to that one. We have over 2,000 icon options, but you can also, if you want to, upload your own icons. And I've just uploaded here, it's called an SVG graphic. And there we have a new icon, and click done. And there it is again. We can also anchor tags. So if that tag was about that bag, I can pop that tag there. So people know that in complex bits of information that you can actually put those tags there. If I wanted to, I could also change that icon so it was a static label, which makes it even easier for people to read, and I could move that about. So to add a tag, I'm going to click on add a tag, and I can put that tag wherever I want it to go. And as you can see, I've got my text and media tag, my plain text label if I want to add content from another website, which is where I added that form in. And I can even create a tour, a virtual tour. It might be a bit of a British thing, but we had something called Mr. Ben, which when you went through the changing room, you went to a different world. So I'm going to show you something similar. So I can create a tour by clicking the tour tag and selecting a scene. And I've got a through the door tag, which just happens to be a 360 image, which is of a department store, which we're going to go through and have a look at. So I'll be like, go through to the store. There we go. And again, I can change my icon if I want something a little easier and a little bit more obvious, and click done. And there we have it. I've got go through to the store with my tour tag. I've got a plain text tag. I've got a text and media tag, which you can add in all sorts of video or images. And I can also add in a quick poll tag for a quick snap poll. So I'm going to click done. And here is my final Thinglink. And back here, I've just put that into my little demo that I was showing you. And here's my little button to go through to the store. And that takes me all the way through to my beautiful 360, as if by magic, like going through the changing room door. So virtual tours is, as you can see, just super easy to create. So just to summarize on that bit then, you can create so many different types of interactive media with Thinglink. And I think that what would be a really, really nice way to top it all off is if I just go back into my little scenario that I was showing you. I'll hop back over, and I'm just going to show you one more thing because I'm incredibly proud of this. This was a tour that we saw that was added today, and I'm just going to go back into it now. Let me see here. No, here it is. If students can do it, then anyone can do it. So this was a video tour, a virtual tour of an art gallery that was established by the students in Finland in Savonlinna High School. And this was only released yesterday. And if you click on the images, which we'll share with you, you get little excerpts of what it's like of the images themselves. But what really impressed me is that if you click on the objects, what they've done is they've been able to create 3D models of their art objects. And they did this with an iPhone Pro 13 and an app called the Polycam app. So my point being, if students can create something as beautiful as this so easily, yeah, what's stopping anyone else in an industry from being able to create, you know, exhibits like this? And this is our future workforce. People are going to be coming into the workforce with these skills and expecting these kinds of resources. And what better way to show the culture of your organization, how smart it is and how forward thinking it is by creating assets like that.
I think it's a great example. And I think that the ability of creating media types, the 360, the 3D, is just, with the iPhone in particular, but with a lot of devices, it's so much easier for students to create and capture, and allows you as a learning designer to create much more kind of immersive and engaging experiences with resources that are already around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the metaverse in action there, really, isn't it? So just back to my presentation, just to kind of put this into context for you. So what we've heard from people that have got in touch with us, and they were able to articulate the problems that I described about, people coming into the workplace, they don't have had the chance to kind of meet people. Orientation is difficult remotely. So having something like this really saves time, because employees can learn the basics at their own pace. It works on any device and it can be accessed anywhere. This saves time and improves learning for when you want to do further training. It's also the ability to practice key skills and even risky skills in something that's real life, but totally relatable as well. So it's completely in context. And as you saw with the 3D model, you can provide instant access to product information, which makes it so much more accessible and engaging. And on that point with accessibility, as you saw with the translation tool, that's not just a kind of bit of frill and fluff as a feature. That's actually incredibly important when your workforce, you don't know whether people have got any accessibility requirements. We don't know that everyone doesn't have English as a first language. We can't make those assumptions. But by having those kinds of tools baked in for everyone, you're being much more inclusive and respectful of everyone's differing needs. But you couple the accessibility tool with the fact that you're able to present your information in text, in audio, like we're doing now. It's so much more engaging for people in those multimodal ways of being able to communicate. So I think hopefully I've done a good job there in showing you what Thinglink's about and some of the problems that it can solve. So over to you, Zach. You're going to talk a little bit about some of the customers that you've been working with in the States.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've been working with customers, just for context. Thinglink's been around for 10 plus years now. So we've really had a history of working with customers, originally heavily on marketing and communications, but over the last several years, we've really been working on e-learning. And we're always so, impressed and excited about the work that our clients do and how that helps shape our product. And so we've seen everything from virtual tours to in-depth walkthroughs to kind of soft skill training of employees by utilizing video and utilizing those key interactions to help drive that. But if you click forward, I'll dive into some of the kind of the key use cases that we have, and show how those have been utilized by some of our clients. One of the things, and you mentioned this earlier, Louise, was really around training employees on environments they haven't been to yet. And this might be a new store opening, or this might be somebody that you want to have experience the environment before they've gone into it. Jabil here has got very complex facilities and walkthroughs, and they've utilized it by creating 360 videos and detailed outlines of those environments to provide all their new employees concepts and understanding of what goes on within that facility, so that allows them to understand that this piece of equipment does this, or this walkthrough does this, and it really gives them a very strong starting point before they walk into the facility to know what they're going into. And what's great about it is that they can go back to this at any time. They don't get the typical, they don't only have the typical tour walkthrough where they get an orientation day, but they can go back and look at this and understand the steps along the way. So that access to anytime learning is really critical. Another one, obviously, Dior, internationally known brand, they really wanted to focus on the culture and the history and the, understanding the design aspects of how Christian Dior came up with a lot of the core concepts of their brand. So this is a virtual showroom, a virtual walkthrough that helps anyone new to to Dior understand a little bit more about their product, their company, their history, design inspirations, and gives them some really great background from a learning perspective to understand the business a little bit better, so that when they're on the floor talking to new customers, they have that core understanding of Dior as a brand, Dior as an organization, and how that relates to the products that they're currently selling today. In a similar vein, if you go forward, the product training component, there certain products are obviously a lot more complex than others, but the depth of knowledge that CFI is done with creating really in-depth overview of the company, overview of individual products, product spec sheets. That is a resource, as Luis mentioned earlier, on an iPhone, or on any phone, on a tablet, on a desktop, and even in a VR headset, that allows users to access this information on demand when they need it, as well as providing a core training to give them detailed knowledge of the different resources they have. And it's graphically oriented, that you can layer a lot of detailed information to a user in this way. And finally, what we're really kind of excited about is the soft training skills, where you can take an in-store or in-experience environment and create, through video, through resources, some really detailed training walkthroughs for them. And in this case, we've got a supermarket that has employees interacting with customers to really understand what their challenges are, and providing questions to them, what happens next. And I'm a little bit older, so the choose your own adventure stories ring to me, where you can actually make different decisions and create various different outcomes based on those decisions, and see what those impact of those decisions are being made. And I know Luis is going to dive into the scenario builder a bit, but she'll show you how those kind of branch decision trees can help train employees, and utilizing in-store video really helps to contextualize it. And so this is feedback from our customers. We're working on some data across some of our key customers, but they've seen 30 to 50% reduction in training costs because of the ability to not fly everybody across the world, less logistics costs. They don't have to hire external agencies to create every little new learning environment they do. And the speed of which you can address to get to market, to have something that is relevant, is super important for a lot of the training we do. So you think about a new spring rollout of a fashion line, or a new product release. How do you create a model that is going to be implemented in the store and virtually? We've also seen 4 to 5x better learning results over just in-person training alone. And we think there's multiple reasons for this. And what we've found from our clients is that they've seen that there are ability for learners to go at their own pace. There's better engagement than just watching a video, and the ability for learners to go back and review this content over a period of time, is a superior method than a in-person only training. And finally, this allows for learners to have less support requests, because they can go back and there's less misunderstanding associated with that. And the goal is really happier customers and happier outcomes associated with it. So we've seen a lot more internal support requests by creating Thinglink as a resource for their learners. And with that, I believe I'm going to dive into this, or allow Luis to dive into the scenario builder, which we released late last year, and we're really getting some great feedback on from a learning design perspective.
Thanks, Zach. Yeah, we ran a webinar last year, and you can go back and watch that if you'd like to, where we did a really detailed look at Scenario Builder. But The great thing about our Thinglink development team is that they constantly are improving things. So we do have a really progressive roadmap, and that roadmap is developed on your feedback. So Scenario Builder is just getting better and better, and some of the features. So if you are using it and you want to see some features, then don't forget to let us know. But what we found was that while scenario building or scenario-based learning is such an effective way to help people develop skills remotely, self-paced, people wanted a little bit more guidance about how to build them, because they know the ease of Thinglink and they can create those Thinglink scenes quite easily because it's just super simple. And we've designed our scenario builder to be equally as simple as creating a Thinglink scene. So to be helpful, we're developing our own scenario-based learning guidance, scenario-based learning masterclass. So if you want to know more about that course or the guidance, sign up on the link that we'll share at the end, and Maddie will be able to send those out to you. But many companies have 3 C's, which is to look at a challenge, put some choices around that challenge, and then think about the consequences. But being Thinglink, we decided to make it a little bit broader because we felt that actually it was the context here that was really, really important. So when you're developing your scenario-based learning experience, start with context. You know, why are you doing it? Where are you doing it? Think about the circumstances, things like, is the space relative to where you're depicting the training? Does it reflect modernity? Is it using up-to-date materials and photos? And actually, some of our customers felt this was a great opportunity to revise their materials because many of their materials were out of date. They didn't reflect diversity. They didn't have masks in, all of those kinds of things. So context in this case is definitely everything. So think about a Thinglink scene that sets out your context. Then have your challenge, which can be a complex problem or it could be a situation. You know, think about, you know, what would enable people to develop some decision-making skills or understand something a little bit easier. And it's also a good place to put a learning intention. So, you know, what do you want people to get out of it? So your challenge is to solve this in X amount of time. And as a result of doing this, you're going to learn this. And then, of course, you've got your choices, and your choices are, you know, what people are deciding to do in that situation, but then you can build out those consequences. And of course, with any training, you want to have a chance to contemplate or have some feedback, because that's where you can reinforce the learning. So I decided to create something that would kind of show some of that in action. I'm just going to share this tab with you now. And this is my Thinglink account page where you can see the scenarios that I've been working on. Something that's really nice and new. So with your Thinglink account, your professional account or your organization account, you have a profile page or a landing page that enables you to select certain scenarios, and employees or members of your organization can log in and just go and see those examples. So I've got one here that I've called Retail Shop Floor Training, and it's about learning points of sale. If I just go back into my scenarios and I'll show you the back end, this is what that one looks like. I've got here, it's my context, then I've got my learning intention, I've got some key facts that I've put in, which adds a little bit more flavor to the challenge. And then I give them a question with this question tag, and then I can build in my consequences or these choices. And I've got one right answer, and I've actually given them some points, and they get a certificate of completion afterwards. So that's what it looks like behind the scenes. It's a visual layout, and you can see that all beautifully. What does that look like? Well, if I click on a preview, here we go. The title slide, we know it's about being in a shop. We're going to learn how to optimize sales opportunities.
You open a different tab. You got to open another tab.
Thanks. There we go. So I've got my nice context there. Click proceed, and I'm learning. My intention is about increasing sales opportunities in my shop floor, and it's got 50 points. I've got some nice key facts. And again, I've put that text into a text tag. So I've got the immersive reader. So it helps for anyone that wants translation. I'm going to say explore the 3 examples in this next scene. And this is where the tags really come into their own. So I've got have a look at window displays, and there's a little video there. So it's no mistake. It's people crouching over that window display and peering up to have a look. The in-store promotion. And, you know, if you wonder why people come and spray you with perfume, that's because they want you to have a good opportunity to smell the merchandise. And then at your point of sale, you've got even more promotional opportunities. So I don't want to dive into that for too long, but just to show you, here's my question. You're ready to refresh your store for the new season. You want to promote your summer products. Do you want to show the sales points as the window displays? Actually, you know, you've lost a potential sale there. Try again, and it jumps you back. Do you want to have a look at the point of sale in-store promotion? Whoa, did you forget something there? And I'm just using these really simple tips and tricks like colors and having a little bit of a playful approach to it as well. And then, of course, my right answer, which is great job. You found all the right things, and I can have 50 points, and I can even have a certificate of completion. And I've just embedded a call to action button there, which is text and media tag, which actually just takes people through to a Google Drive link that I embedded, which has got the certificate ready in there. And that's how simple it was to create something which I can now share out, or I could embed onto my website, or you could use something like that landing page. Super, super simple. So going back to my little scenario, just to show you really quickly how easy it was to do that. If I go back into my account page, I'm going to create a new scenario, and I can just call this, I just call it test. Create. And here I have my scenario ready to go. I'm going to click add content, and this gives me the option to add a scene, to create a branching question. I could put a condition in, and that means that it's a question where there's only one right answer, which you have to get right in order to progress. You could add a simple text block. Here's where you can put the goals in, and you can also put those points to jump back where you need to. So I'm just going to add a scene, and I've already created some little scenes ready in my retail scenarios, which is number 1. And here we have our shop floor, which you saw was the right scene. Click on the plus button, and here I might want to add my scene that had in all of those nice kind of points of sale. I'll just add that one in quickly. But now I might want to add in my question. So if I click on the plus button again, I can add the branch in, and I can put in my question, which is how to optimize sales. And then you can put in the relevant options. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I'm sure you can see how that it pans out. But once you add in those options, we'll say window. There we go. And I'll change that one to just window. And then those 3 positions, once I put the ends in, will all be there, and people will be able to click on, just as you saw in the example, and it will be there ready for them. So I hope that shows how easy it is to add in, you know, these different blocks. And when it all comes together, it's super, super effective. So back in the actual one that I'd set up, which is my first one here, you can see that I had all of those ready to pop in. So it's good to have a folder where you've got these ready. And in the scenarios, back in that one, I'm just going to show you a couple of extra things which are really key. So you can see the stats of how many times people have engaged with it. So you could do that anonymously, or you could see individual users' progress. And there's only 3 people that have completed this one, but it shows me the score they got on any goals achieved. But also I can export advanced data to a CSV file, and I've just uploaded it here. And we give you the raw data so that you can see every single point that someone got to, how long they took, and what decision they made. And the reason that we're giving you the raw data is that you can just download it, put in pivot tables, and analyze it. And that is a really good way to get feedback on how well people are in their point of learning of doing your training, but also how well your course is at doing this, if people are getting it right, or are you making it too easy? As you probably saw with my examples, they were super easy. But as you know, this is, if you've got skills in Excel, you can create all sorts of pivot tables and all sorts of things, but it's good to have the raw data there ready for you. So I'm just going to go back to my deck now and just make sure that I covered all of those points. So data collection, immediate feedback and insights. You can see how effective your training is. And if you wanted to, you could put in some quick snap polls, as you saw with some of our tags, embedding forms, or maybe just a quick poll so that you can get some instant feedback. So hopefully that gives you a really nice flavor of how easy it is to use the scenario builder. So we're doing well on time. We've kind of gone through quite quickly. So I just wondered, Zach, was there any kind of good points or any questions out there? Has anyone got for us?
Well, the one thing that's come up a few times is really around the integration. So what might this look like from an integration perspective?
So one thing that I thought would be really helpful to show is that how easy it is to embed into a website. So when you're in your Thinglink and you've created something, so if I just go into one of my Thinglinks here. So this was actually the Thinglink that you saw of the nice museum that I shared from Savallina High School, which again, I think is just outstanding. So every time you create a Thinglink, you get the share button. And this is the same with Scenario Builder. So you can embed the whole scenario that I just showed you. If you click the share button, you get your embed code. And you're able to copy that and just paste it into your website. So that's one way of sharing your Thinglink or your training internally. You can also share this by link. So you could just put that on an email, share it around to people, or often in an interactive collaborative document. You could even create a QR code, and that's super kind of lovely if you've got a poster of, say, health and safety, and you are in your office and you want people to do the health and safety training right there, right then. They could scan it on their phone and then do the health and safety training. And another example we've got, which is similar to that, is a Finnish electricity company where they've created the 360 health and safety experiences for all of their substations, and employees have to get that right before they can actually get their key codes to work. So, there's lots of creative ways in which you can use this. And then, of course, you can publish to social, you can share within Teams. Many people use Microsoft Teams, so you could click that, share it straight through to Teams. But one thing I really do love, which I'm just going to show you really, really quickly, is that if you wanted to create immersive experiences and actually use them as marketing tools, this is the lovely Savallina Museum that I've just put on Twitter, and it works as an interactive tool directly on Twitter with that deep link. And here is that lovely 3D model that they took really easily. So lots of ways to integrate your Thinglink, but we also work with the LMS systems as well.
And there's a presentation tool that we might have a announcement on.
You are giving away our secrets, Mr. Tusing. So yes, I'm really, really excited about this. So there's a very popular presentation tool out there that many people use, and you'll be able to use an in-presentation tool app, which you'll be able to then just select your URL from your Thinglink. So without giving away too much, it's going to add more power to your points. Thanks, Zach. Are there any other questions?
The one other was around, are you able to offer support and design services as well as the platform?
Yeah, so as well as the course that I mentioned to you, we do have a fantastic support team. You know, I can't recommend them highly enough for their support, commend them. So we have a really good support service so that if you have any individual questions, we also have adoption support as well. So as standard, you know, we can run webinars internally for people and organizations. As you probably can tell, I can talk about this all day, but we do like to offer organizations a webinar to support them with their adoption. We also have a new support service. So if you wanted some additional support with learning design, then we do have people with the skills to go out and to take some content for you. I mean, a lot of the content that you saw today that I used in those, I'd like to say professional looking examples, you know, I just did with Canva, you know, or you could use with other tools. You know, you could even use PowerPoint, Google Slides, download those and annotate them. But if people want to really have some support with learning design and 360 capture, then yeah, that's another service that we can offer as well.
Wonderful. That's it from my side. I haven't seen any other questions coming in right now. But how would we get in touch? How would anyone want to get in touch with us?
Yeah, thanks, Zach. So we've put a bit.ly link there. So a short L, you can go to bit.ly/Thinglink consult, and you'll be able to book a demo consultation with anyone in the team, any one of our learning experts. I just saw someone just jumping in there. Hi, Jim. That's a really great comment. Yeah, you can use that with educators as well. So if you follow that link and then sign up the form, we'll send you an email with a recording of the webinar. So there'll be a link to the recording, and also all of the scenarios that you saw in the profile page with shop layouts, onboarding training, for example, diversity training examples. I've made all those up so everyone can access them in a one-pager. And we'll also put in a PDF of the deck here, and we'll put some interactive links in. So there's so many nice resources. And I actually put it in the chat earlier on, but we actually put together a blog, which was all about advancing retail into the future with Thinglink. You know, that's another great place to go for resources as well. So yeah, we can't wait to get in touch with everyone who's watching today or watching afterwards. If you're watching this in a week or 2 weeks, you know, you'll be able to still get in touch with us.
That was great. Thank you so much, Louise, for giving us that detailed overview of the tool. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Zach. You know, I've actually kept time. It's 43 minutes, and I think there's a few people actually who are leaving comments that, no, I could talk about this all day. So I'm glad that we've kept time. But yeah, get in touch with us. We can't wait to hear from you. And I'd also like just to bring in Madison here, because Madison actually organised all this. So I want to say a huge, big thank you to Maddie for all the work that you've done in pulling this together. We couldn't function without you.
Thank you, Madison.
Thank you so much, Louise. Thank you, Zach. You guys did an awesome job presenting, and I love how easy it is to use Thinglink and everything that you showed with building those scenarios and just how easy it is to put them together. Thank you, everyone, for joining and asking your questions. We've loved having you all here, and we can't wait to get in touch with you.
Great, thanks. So all that's left to say is we hope you all aren't affected by the storms that seem to be flying in everywhere, no matter where you are in the world. So if you have got a journey home, then drive carefully and safe travels home. If you're just at home working in the office like we are, then we're really glad that you were able to join us from the comfort of your own home. And take care, and we can't wait to see you at our next webinar, which will hopefully be and maybe about 6 weeks to a couple of months away, and we'll keep in touch with details about that. So goodbye from us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.